It is going to be amazing. Why? Because it's called Secrets of the Tasting Room. And you're like, why would you know? Why? How do you know? Let me tell you. I worked in a winery tasting room for about almost 20 years actually, and I've done it for a lot of times. I also ran a wine tour company, so we did anything from small wine tours to large, charter buses, and so I set those up. And so I've had the opportunity to be on both sides, on the outside and on the inside. So I wanted to give you pull back the curtain a little bit and say, let me tell you what it is that happens in the tasting room and some of the things that they wish they could say, but they can't. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you what they're thinking sometimes when you're like, oh, so sit back, relax, hopefully have your beverage of choice and just enjoy watching this. And if you like it, please hit subscribe and like and share and all the thumbs up and the hearts and all that. That'd be fantastic. That's great. So let's go ahead and get started. And of course, happy St. Patrick's Day and happy spring break for a lot of people in Oklahoma. And of course, I hope you're having a great day. Number one, if you have a large group, if you have a group of more than probably 5 or 6, I think you should probably call ahead. Why? Because you're going to get a much better experience. Why do I say that? Because you can plan ahead. We can have everything set out for you. We can have multiple glasses set out for you. We can find out whether you need extra services. So maybe you want food or you want a charcuterie board or maybe you want a tour. We can set all those things up before you ever arrive. So the best thing for you to do is to call ahead, let them know we're going to bring this amount of people. Now, if they start canceling, you need to let the venue know probably 24 hours in advance. So if it's last minute, it's not great. So ultimately, if they have set out for 25 and you get down to like 10, you need to let them know I have 10 people coming. That helps them prepare for your group, and it's amazing. It sets up an awesome opportunity. Um, Once you set up that tasting, of course, you also need to find out what kind of beverages they like. And that's actually up to the tasting room person, the person that when you come in, if you were coming into my tasting room, I would look at that and I would say, hey, do I got sweet wine drinkers or do I have dry wine drinkers? And usually I'm like going, well, what do you, if they're like, I don't know, then I'm like, well, what do you like to drink? If they're like sweet tea, I'm going to start them at Moscato. If they're like, I like to drink, coffee, black coffee, well, then I might start them a little bit drier. I said, have you been drinking wine a long time? If you've been drinking wine a long time, I'll start you off drier. If you haven't been drinking wine a long time, I'll start you off sweeter because that's kind of where people start. They usually start with like Boone's Farm or something super sweet like Moscato, and they work their way to like the Cabernets and some of the Chardonnays and some of the others like that. So it's a good chance for you to kind of let people know. And again, that's the tasting room person to be up and say, hey, who drinks what, and we kind of find out. We also are able to work with you, and of course, we're going to get to know you. We're going to ask questions. We're going to want to know about your group so that we can have a good time, and hopefully, your person is really relaxed. Hello, I'm so glad you guys are visiting. Is it Doodle? I'll call it Doodle. And Dragon Pro or Diego Pro? Diego Pro TV. Let me say that correctly. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good. It's a beautiful day. So ultimately, when the tasting room is running and hopping, we hope that you really are coming to visit and enjoy and sitting back, relaxing, and having a great wine experience or great beer experience. I hope that you're doing that. Um, Also, we want to make sure that when we are visiting, that is again partly my job, partly your job, is to let people know that when they go into a tasting room and they do a full tasting of all the wines or beers that are in that or ciders that are in that space, even cheeses, it is best to buy something while you're there. So I hope that you know that when you go into a venue, you do buy something, even if it's not your favorite. Maybe you'll buy a gift for somebody else. It's a good chance for you to do that. Thank you for the thumbs up. Appreciate it. So I really hope that you look at that because that's an awesome thing to create a basket. It's local. It tends to be in Oklahoma. It's less expensive than if you go to other wine regions. Our wine regions we're relatively inexpensive. There's some that are more higher end than others, and so that's just something to know. But be aware of that. But yes, you do want to encourage people to shop because that keeps the businesses open and it lets everybody be excited about what's going on. The third thing is listen, you can ask questions. I want you to ask questions when it comes to you walking into my tasting room. If you're looking at, if you are thinking about like how does wine made? Great. I love to talk about that. You're talking about the wine. Why do they swirl? Why do they look through it? All those things. And of course, I will be doing a video on that at some point. But ultimately, there's a lot of reasons and ritual behind it, but there are actual reasons to get the oxygen in it, to look for clarity, to make sure that it smells the right way, tastes the right way, swirls the right way, and it pairs with the right food. All those things are important when you're doing that. It's important for you to learn it because I think it's a great opportunity for you to kind of get educated in a different way, and it's a good chance for you to do that. But ask questions of your tasting room person. If they don't know, have them get somebody who does. So it may be that they need to pull a winemaker in. It may be that they need to bring somebody else in and answer your questions. That's fantastic. I've been on both sides. Again, I had new people where I was the one that answered the questions. I've also had people ask me questions and I will not know at the time. I will find out the answer and get back to the person that's bringing the group in. I love having fun, and that's the number one thing. Now, one of the things that I want to also remind you, if you are there on a date, you need to let us know. Why? Because that is very different than if you're there just to have a tasting. If you're there to wine and dine somebody, we would handle that differently than if you're there just to have a tasting to kind of hang out. Because we're just trying to hang out, that's fine. As a group, that's a whole different thing than if you're there on a date and you're trying to. We would do that differently. We come in, we pour the wine, we say hello, and then you would step back and let you guys visit and have some one-on-one time and spending some time together. We might give you a glass of wine, let you walk to the vineyard, and let you go do that. So that can actually be amazing. But it would be a different thing if you're on a date with somebody than if a whole group is coming in and you guys are just there to have a good time. If I have a bachelorette party that's coming in, that's very different. Why? Because they're out there to have a good time and be a little wilder. And I'm like, I may not do as much of the education piece and just let them have a good time. So again, there's different ways that we do that. There's some that are regulars that come in. If they're regulars that come in, they know our wines, and so ultimately you learn that, oh, they change every year. So ultimately, if it the next year could be different, the next vintage could be different. So if you tasted last year, maybe you go taste again this year and see the differences. Or they can do a flight sometimes where they'll look at different vintages from different years. They can do a vertical flight where they're like, oh, same wine but different years, and you can see the nuances in the grapes, and that's amazing. Let's see. Um, if you are a partner, if you have a bus company or you're looking for something to do, partner with your local wineries, find out where they are. By the way, all 50 states have wineries, all of them. There's more and less in different spaces. I mean, obviously Napa, California, and the California coast is a big wine area. Of course, Finger Lakes region of New York. We see a lot down in South Central Texas. Yeah, I am. I said I've been doing it for a long time. So somebody asked me if I was qualified to talk about this. Yeah, I am. So ultimately, there's wine regions from all over. There's amazing places in Arkansas, Missouri, northern Missouri, in the Herman area. It's amazing. There's an incredible opportunity for you to kind of learn about each area. Also, it's great to then partner with local farms. And when you're building a menu, it's great to have local menus to have all the things that you need in it. Well, I don't think a local menu without local wine is truly local. So I'm just saying that if you don't have your local beverages, I mean, you have brewers, you have beer brewers, and sometimes what happens, you have your winemakers and your beer brewers partner together. Because what happens is when the wine barrels are empty, they can get rid of them. So what they'll do is they'll give them to a brewer, and then the brewer will put beer in them, and so they'll use the wine, the local wine, and they'll put it with a local craft brew, and then you'll have this blend of the two, which is a fantastic use of barrels. It is absolutely incredible. And you want to make sure, again, that we're just really looking at all the things that can be done and all the things that we want to do, and maybe the incredible opportunities. Um, when I look at the very best experiences I've ever had, I loved doing what I call our VIP night. Now, the winery that I worked at was Canadian River Winery in Slaughterville, Oklahoma. Oh, San Diego and Monterey is amazing. You got you incredible, amazing, amazing, beautiful, wonderful wines out there. Again, California is very, very well versed in this. It is incredible. So my very favorite thing to do is we do a grape stomp every year in a town called Slaughterville, south of Norman, Oklahoma. And so they do it. They have a VIP night the night before the stomp, and what that is, that's for adults only. That's a chance for us to have everybody out. They get groups together, and you do a wine pairing. You do the grape stomp. They'll have a shirt that they'll put the feet prints on, and then They get larger pours. It's more of a romance dinner or a night out with friends. It's fun. Like it is a great time. And they do it every year in September, usually September. So if you're in the Oklahoma area, check that out. It's one of the few that they do in our state, and it's just fun. If you have a chance to do that, you'll get a great kind of education on Oklahoma wine. Also, right now, they are doing a history of Oklahoma wine in, I should say, Oklahoma wine history at the Cherokee Heritage Center in northern Oklahoma. Maddie Franklin's going to do it. It's going to be incredible. It is talking about our rich history in wine. If you don't know, we were the fourth largest grape growing region in the country prior to Prohibition, but we adopted Prohibition with statehood in 1907. And so ultimately, we had thousands and thousands of acres of grape, but we stopped and ripped them all out. The temperance movement was alive and well in Oklahoma until about 1959. 1959 is when it ended here. In 1939, it ended nationally. So it took it 20 additional years for it ended in Oklahoma. So it has been this interesting dynamic, and the laws are interesting. And now they also have the OSU viticulture program with them that they're going to talk about grape growing. And of course, we will never have enough grapes. I'm just saying that right now. We will never have enough grapes in Oklahoma. Our weather is kind of crazy. Good example. This morning it was 26, 25 degrees, and tomorrow it's going to be 90 degrees in the same week. So it's hard to grow grapes in an environment where it's like that. Where you guys in California, it's pretty consistent, right? It stays pretty consistent. The waters off the ocean kind of keep it a consistent temperature, keeps the humidity consistent, and the soil is incredible. So it is a benefit to live in that area and grow in that area. Uh, it, it's amazing, but it's kind of wild, wild west out here. So when they're growing and they're doing it from our soils, it takes a unique person to be able to do that, almost a pioneer when it comes to make it happen. Because we have red clay, and so we're looking at what that looks like and the terroir and the way that it comes up through the expression of the plants and the wines themselves. So it is fascinating to see all that happen. Um, it is a great chance to connect with people and to build community, to be involved in the wine world, to learn and all that. Obviously, when it comes to safety, I am always and will always tell you, get a driver, get an Uber, get a bus, get whoever you need, get a child that's over 18 that's going to drive you around. I mean, pay them. I said there's different ways that you can make that happen and not be driving on your own. So I will always say that because that's important to me, that everybody that does that responsibly. There's an opportunity for you to get to know people in the field. Well, because also hospitality is important. And if you're in the wine world, don't forget to look at your markets. So for some people, they think tasting room only. Not only that, but your real estate agents, they're good to have. If you want to sell local wine to them, make sure you go to your real estate agents. Why? Because you can let them know that hey, when they give a housewarming, it's great to have a bottle of wine on the counter if that person drinks wine. You also need to partner with your local cheese shops. So when I did my wine tours in Oklahoma, what we did is we would go taste I think 4 or 5 wineries. They'd be like 6, 7 wines per winery. There was a lot. So what we did is we'd stop for lunch. So we would go to Joseph's, and we were going up to the northeast, up by Drumright. We would go to Ishins, which is like a famous chicken place here in Oklahoma City area. We would go to Bedre Chocolates when it was in Pauls Valley, and then we also went to Bedre Chocolates when it was in Davis. They're an amazing chocolate company. Forward Foods, which is currently in Norman, it's a cheese shop, but also when it had a space in Oklahoma City, we did that as well. So what I would do is I'd do a winery, then I would go do a chocolate shop, then I'd do a winery, then I would do lunch, then I would do a winery, then I would do a cheese shop or some other shop. And then that's how I did it over time so that they would eat and rest and kind of walk around and walk, so they paced themselves over a day because it was a big day. So those were incredible opportunities for people to learn. I got to teach them. We had a good time. They built connections, and I still have connections with people on those tours, and I'm friends with them because again, it's people that I've been around for almost 20 years. So I mean, it's been a long time. I'm excited about the future of winemaking and wineries. I think at this point, though, there is a little bit of a thing in that you have to, again, moderation is important. the way that you do that, the way that you present it, the way that you are learning history, local food movement, slow movement. I do want to say this, and this is something that just on the other side of it bugged me, and it probably bugs a lot of people. Slamming wine or slamming craft beer hurts a winemaker's heart. Let me say that again. Slamming wine or slamming beer hurts a winemaker's heart or beer maker's heart. Why? Because they have put a lot of time, we're talking like 2 years in bottle usually, and a lot of effort into those things. For you to just slam it and not savor it and not enjoy it and not experience it and just to slam it and drink it, yeah, not the same. You can go do that with $2 Chuck. I'm just saying you can go do that with something that's cheap. I'm like, when you have something that some put that much effort into it or that much time into it, take a moment, enjoy it, understand that it's an awesome thing. So it is really, really going to be amazing to see what we have coming up. I will tell you this, keep an eye out. I'm going to be posting a lot of things in my Oklahoma Wine Culture channel, and I want you to see that. See all the things that are available. I will be letting you know what's going on in the wine world because I think it's interesting. There's a lot of changes and disruption, and what are young people going to do, and so all the things like that. Uh, how does all the AI stuff impact? Not involved in that. If you have one person in your life, have them subscribe to the network, get on the wine channel, watch it. There's also a lot of other channels on there. You got travel channels, you got food channels, you've got, gardening channels, all things Norman, all kinds of fun things for you to check out. So check out my other channels. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you guys for being on today. You guys are incredible.